Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Michael, brought to you for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence. Our word of the day is proficuous. Super microcomputer was very proficuous to my account today as it was added to the S&P 500. So that's our word of the day, proficuous. Useful or profitable. Its origin is Latin from the mid-17th century. So there we go, our word of the day. We'll stop our share there. And now let's go to the news of the day. I've been charging my other gadget here. So let me just bring up, share our screen with the screens. Just looking at advanced micro devices a little earlier. Now, of course, my screen has disappeared. I'll have to bring it up again. It's totally disappeared. Let's see if I can search for it here. I'm going to pause our meeting here while I search for it. Sorry about that. We are back. Found it. I'm not sure why I couldn't find it where the search, but I did find it. So let's go. World News: United States affirmed at AA plus by Fitch. Outlook stable. OPEC plus producers to continue cuts of 2.2 billion barrels. Saudi Arabia said it would extend its voluntary cut of 1 million barrels per day through the end of June. Russia will cut oil production and exports by an extra 471,000 barrels per day. On to our sector news. Macy's. Let's see if we can get our ticker to show up here. Macy's confirmed this weekend that it has received a revised unsolicited non-binding proposal from Ark House Management and Brigade Capital Management to acquire the outstanding shares of the company for $24 per share in cash. Interesting. Take a look at this is Market Surge, totally new, updated platform. Excited to be using it here on the show for the second time. We did it on the weekend, on our weekend update. So that's the story with Macy's. A huge gap up on that news, up 13.49%, and their earnings last week were up 30%. Tesla had its, I believe it had its earnings, said it sold 60,365 China-made vehicles in February. And that is kind of tanking the stock. It was down to, I believe, 187. Let's see, that was last week. 186.72 was the low, so it is recovering a little bit here. We did close our 200 to 210 option spread, and we have kept our 190 naked calls. So we'll just see how that all plays out. S&P mid cap 400 constituent Deckers will replace Zions Bancorp in the S&P 500 effective prior to the open of trading on Monday, March 18th, to coincide with a quarterly rebalance, and Zion will replace Super Microcomputer in the S&P midcap, which is joining, I believe, on March 16th. So there's a big move by Deckers and Super Microcomputer. Massive Vault as well, up nearly 25% on the news. We may see them once again on the tech news. So that Zion, slight move by Zion up 1.93. America's Carmart, True Blue, Forrester Research, Oil States International, Digital Turbine, Consensus Cloud Solutions, and iRobot will be removed from the S&P 5 small cap 600. So there's Carmart down over 5% today. True Blue, big gap down, trying to recover something, down 2.37%. Forrester Research down 5.54%. Oil States International down 4.75%. Digital Turbine Apps just continues down. It's penny stock territory now. And of course, my screen went blank again, but at least I didn't lose it. Consensus Cloud Solutions down 9% today. And iRobot just continues down as well, getting close to penny stock territory. Tesla Motors said it plans to demerge into two separate listed companies to define the focus on the passenger and electric vehicle segments. It said in an exchange filing on Monday, the commercial vehicles business and its related investments will be spun into one entity, and the passenger vehicles, PV, businesses including electric vehicles, EV, Jaguar, Land Rover, and related investments in another entity. So interesting. Vista Outdoor today announced that its board of directors rejected an unsolicited indication of interest received February 19th from MNC Capital pursuant to an MNC expressed interest acquiring Vista Outdoor in an all-cash transaction for $35 per share. And see, here's iRobot. Oh, my screen keeps going dark just to annoy me. Here's Vista Outdoor. And now we're on to energy, industrials, and materials. S&P small cap constituent Applied Industrial Technologies will replace Medical Properties Trust. I'm wondering why this is not moving. So AIT, a gap down 2.56%. MPW Not much difference in MPW. This is going to happen on March 18th to coincide with a quarterly rebalance, and MPW will replace AIT in the small cap 600. Magnolia Oil and Gas, Air Lease, MGE Energy will be added to the S&P 500 600 small cap, effective prior to the opening and trading on Monday, March 18th. Big move by Magnolia Oil and Gas, and then got a big pullback. Air Lease Corporation, wow, nice gap up, huge volume there. And MGE Energy, MG, there's two E's, Energy. Look at that move. 17.8%, 18%. It's pretty close to Super Micro's move. Provides utilities to 161 electric customers. On to Boeing. Confirmed it is in discussions to acquire Spirit Aerosystems Holdings. It's sold off initially up slightly. Spirit Aerosystems manufactures fuselage propulsion, and they're up 2.29% on that. A move that would reclaim control of struggling former aerostructures unit, main supplier at the center of numerous quality issues affecting the 737 MAX airliner. Onto General Electric. Mentioned positively in Barron's, saying the company is nearing the end of its recovery period after falling 80% from its 2000 peak in 2018. A looming corporate breakup is a sign of optimism for investors, and buying GE ahead of the final phase of the split could be a lucrative payoff. There we go. It's up 1.4%. UPS mentioned positively in Barron's, noting shares have fallen 7% since the company's disappointing 2024 guidance at the end of January, and the sell-off UPS looks like promising buy in the package delivery service seeks to cut costs, increase automation, and boost volumes to offset front-end loaded expenses from its Teamsters union contract. With this news, it looks like we got a little bit of a pocket pivot here. It pulled back a little bit after hitting its 50-day moving average. And United Rentals said it has entered into a definitive agreement to acquire Yak Access LLC, Yak Mat LLC, New South Access Environmental Solutions LLC from Platinum Equity for approximately $1.1 billion in cash. On to financials, S&P 500 constituent Intuit will replace Exelon. Let's see what happened to Exelon. Oh, Exelon actually went up 1.62%. Electricity company. And Intuit, it is just keeps going higher, and it's up slightly today, 0.62%. Exelon is no longer representative of the mega cap market space. Exelon will remain in the S&P 500. And this company is continually in the news. New York Community Bancorp has had its credit grade cut to junk by Fitch Ratings, and Moody Investor Service lowered its rating even further. So it's not good for them to be in the news, let me tell you. Down. If every day your stock goes down 20%, you're in trouble. AKRO. It's not every day, but it seems like it. Akero Therapeutics develops medicines and therapies for serious metabolic diseases. Said that extending treatment with its experimental drug for liver disease known as MASH, M-A-S-H, from 6 months to 2 years, resulted in better outcomes for patients. And so it's trending higher on that news. So on to IOVA, announced that US FDA lifted a partial clinical hold placed on its registration of IOV-LUN 202 trial. So their stock is up marginally, up 2%. BioV shares fall after saying it sold 21 million shares along with warrants to buy up to 10.5 million shares at a combined price of $1 per share. And yes, it is sinking rapidly, down nearly 43%. Cellular Biosciences, everything kind of went dark on my screen. So battery is a little low. Biosciences is up 2.5%. Announced that lopofosine 131 is in combination with external beam radiation therapy was safe and tolerated in spore grant supposed investigation. Initiated phase 1 clinical trial. S&P small cap 600 constituents Cytokinetics will replace Calyx. Cytokinetics is down sharply today, down 9%. And the S&P 500 mid-cap effective, I would think it would Monday, March 18th to coincide with a quarterly rebalance, and CYTK will replace Calyx in the S&P 500 small cap. On to Revance Therapeutics announced a proposal underwritten public offering of 100 million in common stock, and their stock falls 12%. People don't like to be diluted normally. S&P 500, S&P 400 constituent super. I told you we'd have this in our technology, media, and telecom. Will replace Whirlpool in the S&P 500. Yeah, it's up nearly 25%. And what happened to Whirlpool? Continues down. Whirlpool, we'll go to the mid-cap 400. BOX Group, Blackline will be added to the S&P 500 small cap. BOX, big gap up today on that news. Earnings tomorrow. Earning up 5%. BGC up big time as well. Moves up almost 14%. Blackline Incorporated slow to move. Gap up near its high for today, nearly up 11%. And then finally, C Limited. I believe this is a Malaysian company, Singapore base. Q4 EPS loss 19 cents versus estimate loss of 25 cents, and it's moving up. Look at this volume before the earnings, and it is breaking out, definitely breaking out. Let's take a look at the long range here. Broke out before earnings and just continues up 7% here. And we'll plug back our device so I can get some charge. So that's a look there. Now let's take a look at some of our ETFs. Not sure what's happening with our market surge here. May need to reload it. Stop our share. As soon as I pause the meeting, it starts working again. Such is life. And now it stops working again. Let's just reload this. Now, for some reason, our Bing crashed. I'm not sure what happened there, but when they say everything that could go wrong did go wrong, that was it. But let's get back to our screens. So this is the dollar index. It really dived on Friday and it continues down another 0.5%. I didn't want to look at Schlumberger, but there we have it, up slightly. Silver, told everybody about this move the weekend, moved up big time, and now it is moving again as the dollar is slammed. Not sure how much further it'll go, if it'll break out it up here or not. Let's look at gold. Gold is doing about the same. Just it broke out on Friday and now it just continues its move. Take a look at Arrow Copper. Continues up after it broke through that 200-day moving average. Southern Copper sold off and now is bounced back. It's up 1.24%. Freeport McMoran up 1%. Vale not doing much. Rio pulling back slightly, and BHP in Australia is pulling back a little bit. Let's look at our bond yields. They got slammed on Friday as well. They're gapping up today, back to the 20-day moving average, 0.39% up to 4.22% on the 10-year, and on the 20-year down to 0.8%. Before we got all these technical problems, I was going to look at the ETF, so let's just look at them. Financials are up a little bit. I think it was it BlackRock? I think BlackRock was out this morning. We'll have to take a look at them a little later. That's the financials. Energy, big pullback. Oil prices dipped. I think with that news from Saudi Arabia and Brazil, like a softening of the economies. Communications is going down. Let's take a look at Google. was recommending that a put spread be put on my show last week. Not sure if it was a weekend wrap up or not, but it gaps down here. Definitely there's a pullback in the NASDAQ as well. Meta is the other big player in this slight pullback, 3.14, now below 500. Utilities got a big bounce today. That's pretty amazing, bouncing off of their 10 and 20-day moving averages. Here's the one that I keep following. Holding right around the 90 area, tightening up. That looks like a pretty good formation. Not sure if this looks like a double bottom here. So that's the story there. Real estate continues up, even though we got a bounce in the yields. That formation looks pretty good. Volume is receding a little bit. Biotech pulling back to 100. Same on the other biotech index. Software remains pretty flat. Technology about the same. Infrastructure, wow, look at that. Infrastructure just keeps going and going and going around, but it's not going to be today because volume is increasing. So I'd wait to see if there's going to be a pullback in volume, if you were going to put on a put spread or something. So that's the story there. Semiconductors got a gap up today. Volume is a little less, but the day isn't over yet. Up nearly 2%. Airlines, pretty flat. Leisure, slight pullback. Industrials continues up. Consumer staples, pretty flat. Building materials, wow, look at that jump. They are on a move. This shows you what happens when you buy on a breakout. So early buy could have been right about there. Or if you were really aggressive, maybe there. And you would have a nice little trade there. Metals and mining got a little bounce there above the 50-day moving average. Home builders, I looked at this home builder and it just shocked me, the move that this has made, especially in the last 2 days. Recent IPO, and that is the news there. Let's look at our FANG. Should be down today. It is. Google and Apple. Apple got a big fine for their app store. So that's the story there. Let's go to our regular routine. See what's up 3%, 50% increase in volume. Abercrombie and Fitch got a huge move up there, up 4%. Earnings in 2 days. Volume is mainly blue. Tidewater came out with their earnings. Were pretty stellar. They continue up. We looked at them on, I believe, weekend update. And Novo Nordisk, it's diet drugs. Pulled back to the 20-day moving average here. So it really broke out here at 109.08. Big gap up. And it's just continued up. A little bit of a pullback. So if you had some shares, this might have been a great time to add more shares. When it bounced off of the 20-day moving average, and now 2 gaps in a row up here. BRP Group, big move, up 17% on its earnings and nearly 7% pop today. Powell Industries has been a big leader, manufactures power substation packages. Look at this move, this gap up, and it never came close to getting to the bottom of the gap, and it just keeps on going. As we've talked about, on any gaps, as long as the gap holds, this is a nice buy to hold on to. And we got Taiwan Semiconductor. This pullback to near the 20-day moving average would have been a nice add as it bounced off of that. And it gapped up, and we got another gap up today. Celestica, Canadian contract manufacturers of electronic products, broke out at 30.46. I guess that's like a pocket pivot possibly. We're going to have a class on pocket pivots a little later, or at least a presentation. Got a pullback here and just continues to move up. Got a really nice gift from one of our watchers. Today I wanted to personally thank him. And Super Microcomputer, they sent me a book on something we're going to study in the future. So Super Microcomputer was up around 24, 25%, a little bit of a pullback, but up 18%. You can't, like I said, right over here, we bought the option and it was sold off. Looked like it was coming back. We put it on at 725, the 725 option. Now we have the opportunity to let it exercise 725 when the stock is at 1074. That's what I like about options. Now we're a little slow again. Not sure what's happening here. So here's Samsara. We had bought them right before the quarter was announced last time, and we put them on again about 2 weeks ago, maybe, when they popped up over here, and then we just added in another account today on Samsara. So we'll just see how the earnings play out. The Bitcoin surge went from 62, had a little bit of a pullback, didn't come back to the 57 point, but is moved up, and Coinbase has taken its pleasure with this. And this is the one we had talked about right around 495. This looks like a VCP, volatility contraction pattern, that Mark Minervini really uses quite often, and really jumped up with Bitcoin moving around. Looks like a cup with a handle right here. This was your opportunity to buy, and now it's just getting off to the stratosphere right now. So that's a look at what's up 3%, what's up 5%. There's 36 items. We're not going to go through all of them. Just kind of scanned. Carol Therapeutics may have been in the news, I'm not sure. Up nicely. Apogee Therapeutics. You can see why that biotech ETF is moving. So got a little bit of a blue here, and it just is breaking out today. Had an early trigger here that looked like it was going to bounce out, pull back a little bit, and now it is off to the races. Arch Resources, steam and coal. Got a pullback here. We'll pull back here and now it gaps up about 5% today. Just kind of scan through. We had Box in the news. I think it was Blackline in the financials. Got a gap up and move much higher. Hewlett Packard continues under accumulation. Broke off the bottom here, and it is bouncing off the 50-day moving average now, up a little over 10%. A lot of people are looking at them for quantum computing. There's Macy's, which had that buy offer. Macrogenetics, MicroStrategies in here. B. Riley Financial, which was, I think, trying to get a buyer. And they're moving up today. They sold off and came up on that news, and they're bouncing today up 22%. Root and insurance. Yeah, I think this first market day, it's having a little problem. But here we are. We got the ants now coming up here. Look at all this buying. This is professional buying all the way up, just continues up. Earnings not till May 1st. Last earnings were up 170. The sales were up 173%, I believe. And that is, look there. Let's go. What's up 100%? Up 10% on 200% volume. There's only 9 items. Could be a lot of the same suspects. Acaro Therapeutics, Apogee Therapeutics, Avadale Pharmaceuticals. Big bounce there. Not quite a breakout, but it's up 18% in one day. Biohaven. Nice move up 13.5%. Sweet Green in the food category, salad place. We've seen them here in California. Big gap up on the earnings on Friday and a continuation today. And finally, Spire Therapeutics. So they broke out at 28.76 and they are just continued up. Wow, another 17% up today. Those are some things you could put on your watch list. So what did we do today? The main action that we took was on Monday. On Monday, we took off some Mondays. So we took off the short on Monday. We had the 220, 230 spread. So we're just going to see if this can break out here. If you neglect this one, it looks like we got a double bottom formation, and now it's continuing up 0.49% today. Not a big move, but we'll continue to watch that. There's the bell. Everything is closed for the day, and we're going to close our show right here. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope everybody has a great day. If you have any financial questions, feel free to reach out to us. Remember, Mornings with Michael is for information and educational purposes only. It's your responsibility to do your own due diligence. If you have any financial goals or financial activities you want to run by us, feel free to reach out to us. And you can send us a comment on our YouTube site. Until tomorrow, we're looking forward to Taco Tuesday.